Hello everyone and welcome to this next Compare and Contrast History of Graphic Design video series. My name is Lewis and let's get right into it with the Crystal Palace. So picture this, you're a machinist, an inventor, an investor, or an artist in London. The year is 1851. You've heard that a great place is being built on commission by the Queen and Prince themselves to promote art and industry. You, being the prosperous young adult or older gentleman involved in these sorts of fields, you arrive to the venue, and you see a massive gleaming glass building. People are pouring in and out like ants, and men are hefting incredible looking machines and art pieces. As you enter the venue, there are rows and rows and rows of tables extending for 8 miles, filled with luxury items, crown jewels, machines, all sorts of art pieces from around the world. This, gentlemen and friends, is the Great Exhibition. So, the Great Exhibition, or as it was officially called, the Great Exhibition of the Works of Industry of All Nations, was an exhibition organized by Prince Albert and a man named Henry Cole, funded by Queen Victoria. The purpose of this exhibition was to assemble many of the world's greatest machinists and artists to show off their creativity and ingenuity. The other purpose was to display Britain's wealth off, as many of the crown jewels were on display in a good portion of exhibits in the actual exhibition were of British origin. It attracted great minds as well throughout history, Charles Darwin, Charles Dickens, Samuel Colt, and many others. So these exhibitions were held annually, and they were an amazing source of innovation and, more importantly, money, income for Great Britain. The selling of the tickets for the Great Exhibition more than made up for the cost to construct it, even turning about a few $1 million in profit. So, what does this have to do with our graphic designers today? Well, at first, nothing. The works of art showcased here were for painters and drawers, not for the typographers or designers of the Industrial Revolution, although the new printing presses that were displayed here would be interesting and important to us. What was really great was the spread of the new trade shows that would come up after this. Of course, the Crystal Palace would always be here. It would continue going for several years until it unfortunately burned down. But what came of this was that people who came here thought, well, this is great. However, it's very expensive to come here. If you could afford the cost of travel and attendance, only a few luxury foreign typographers and designers were able to afford this, and many other middle-class tradesmen couldn't afford to fly to Britain to attend this very large show. So what was to be done for them? It's simple. They made their own trade shows about their own works, styled after the Great Palace in concept and execution, minus the several billion-dollar cost. So they decided, they went the path of creating their own trade exhibitions, and that has been a staple point for designers and artists today. So if we fast forward several hundred years later, and the formula hasn't really changed much. There is a graphic designer that I personally met named Mrs. Brioni Gomez Palacio and her husband Armin Witt. They started a trade show called the Brand New Conference, which was started for graphic designers by graphic designers. Here were many principles laid out in the Graphic Palace, thematic showings, guest speakers, and the whole exhibition was acting as a meeting point for members of trade to gather together and share ideas. Now, the Brand New Conference struck out on its own, become internationally recognized. For one, it has a very in-depth gimmick each year for tie-dyes, such like that. That keeps every year fresh. Secondly, it brings in graphic design talent from across the globe, and the mixing of different design techniques and principles stimulate creativity. Thirdly, it serves as a great networking opportunity. Maybe big names such as Paula Scher or Milton Glaser won't get you job opportunities, but people of similar skill level and experience can make a more connected, unified group that sort of look out for one another. And you see this with conventions all over the globe, and if you look at pictures, which you'll be seeing throughout this video, of the Great Exhibition during its heyday, you can see that it looks a lot like the convention floors that you see when it comes to normal conventions that you'll see around the globe. Not even just the fun conventions like the Tampa Bay Comic-Con, like Comic-Cons or such like that, but even trade shows still borrow a lot from this. So overall, Crystal Palace was a real large beacon to pave the way for for its act of globalism of connecting countries through industrial mannerisms. The differences between nations weren't seen in a negative light. It was seen as an opportunity for innovation and knowledge spreading. So it served to get rid of the boundaries separating two nations, and rather it was an opportunity for them to work together and put together their works as a form of cooperativeness. And it was really, really phenomenal until it unfortunately burned down. But the legacy it left behind is known for a large period of time. In fact, there was a Netflix series that came out about Queen Victoria at this time, and it features Henry Cole talking with the prince to construct Crystal Palace. So that was it for the Crystal Palace. Another short video, I apologize. But next time we will be talking about, we're going to start getting modern, I would say, but now we're going to start going into real heavy-handed with the graphic design. We're going to be going into advertising and how it led to the creation of graphic design. So my name is Lewis. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you there next time. Have a good one.